Take a close look at these small dried buds I'm holding in my hands, simple culinary cloves. They've probably been gathering dust in your spice cabinet for years, and you only pull them out once a year for a holiday ham or pumpkin pie. But did you know that inside this tiny, inconspicuous clove lies the greatest secret to longevity and a lean body? This isn't just a spice, it is a genuine key to the dungeon where your body has been languishing for decades, shackled in invisible sugar chains. Have you ever wondered why your brain, this wise organ, suddenly turns into a moody, uncontrollable child and literally forces you to go to the kitchen in search of candy, cookies, or a piece of white bread, even if you've just had a full, delicious meal? Why does one little square of dark chocolate, which you promised yourself would be the only one, unnoticedly turn into an empty wrapper from a whole bar? Why do your hands start to shake and your mood plummets into an abyss if you find out that the house is out of everything sweet? My old world healer once opened my eyes to this terrifying truth. It's not your weak will, it's not a lack of character, and it's not a bad habit. It is a genuine biological breakdown of your cells, their desperate cry for help. After age 60, our cells begin to go deaf. They stop hearing the signals of fullness and hormonal regulation, yet their doors always remain wide open for a toxic excess of sugar. And this sugar, once inside, doesn't give you energy. It instantly turns into dense, cold, rock-hard fat on your belly and hips. Today, I will show you step by step, in full detail, the recipe I call the Clove Trap. This isn't just an aromatic tea, it's a sophisticated biological lock. I will break it down to the atoms, showing how the unique essential oil of cloves, Eugenol, finds these wide-open gates of your fat stores and locks them tight. Listen closely and watch until the very end, because I will name one critical mistake that almost everyone makes. If you pour boiling water over cloves, you simply kill their soul and get scented water, while your fat stays right where it is, continuing to grow. Remember me as I used to be, my dear ones. When I weighed 260 pounds, I wasn't just a large woman, I was a true, powerless slave to sugar. I could hide a pack of marshmallows under my pillow and eat it at night without even noticing the process. I called this condition candy amnesia. In the morning, I would swear to myself, never again. But by lunchtime, my legs would carry me to the bakery aisle. I justified myself in the mirror with anything I could think of: age, heavy menopause, genetics, a woman's lot in life. But in reality, I was in a trap, in a deep pit with no way out. My blood sugar was jumping like a frantic forest rabbit. First, a sharp, short rise and euphoria from the sweetness, and just an hour later, a terrible, paralyzing weakness, a cold, clammy sweat, and an unbearable, nauseating urge to chew on something again. My belly was growing by the day, not the week. It was huge and so hard that it felt like it would burst if you pressed on it. Shortness of breath tormented me even when walking on a flat floor. My healer looked at my suffering, at my tears, and said words I remembered for the rest of my life. Val, you are like a person trying to fill a bottomless, leaky bucket. Your cells are starving in a sea of abundance because the sugar isn't going into energy for life, it's going into fat for storage. You don't need to go on diets or starve yourself. You need to clean your receptors so your cells can see again. He was the one who taught me how to prepare this special clove infusion. I'll be honest with you, the first 2 days I drank it with effort, I winced. The taste seemed too tart, too spicy, unusual. But on the 3rd morning, a real biological miracle happened that I couldn't believe. I poured myself tea as usual, opened a box of my favorite chocolates, and suddenly I felt that the smell was unpleasant to me. My brain, my control center, for the first time in 10 long years, calmly and clearly said, "Stop, Val, I don't need this anymore." At that moment, I realized that my personal trap had snapped shut. Sugar no longer had that devilish power over me. And today, I will teach you how to reach this state, because weight loss doesn't start on the plate, it starts in the head when you are freed from addiction. Now I will show you what powerful chemistry stands behind every sip of this drink. Let's look together into the very heart of this small, dry bud. The main treasure in clothes, which for centuries was valued more than gold, is the precious essential oil called eugenol. In the modern scientific world, it's known as a powerful natural antiseptic used by dentists, but for us, for people dreaming of lightness, another, almost magical property of eugenol is important. It is a unique, natural insulin mimic. Try to imagine, our insulin is a key that must open every cell in your body so it can eat sugar from the blood and give you the strength to live, move, and rejoice. But with age, especially after 60, this key bends, it rusts, and the locks on the cells get clogged with debris. Sugar remains in your blood, it ferments there, poisons your vessels, makes the blood as thick as syrup, and then the liver, saving you from death, frantically turns this sugar into fat and hides it on your hips. Eugenol enters your body and begins to work like an ideal, new, oiled spare key. It acts very gently but confidently. It bypasses the damaged mechanisms of the pancreas and opens your cells for nutrition itself. The old wisdom says cloves are the very nail that nails down the lid of your wolfish appetite. When your cells finally, for the first time in years, are fed with sugar directly from your blood, your brain instantly receives a signal. That's it. The food is enough. I'm full and full of strength. This is the only way in nature to defeat the craving for sweets without self-flagellation and iron discipline. You simply stop thinking about it. The candies in the vase become just decor to you, like stones on the roadside. But eugenol does one more great thing. It works like a fire extinguisher. Excess fat on the belly is always a hidden fire, a chronic inflammation of the tissues. Eugenol puts out this flame from the inside. Your belly stops being hot and inflamed. It begins to cool down gradually. The tissues regain their elasticity, and the volumes begin to melt by themselves. This is a process of restoring the normal life of every cell in your body. My dear ones, now I'm going to ask you to listen to me as carefully as never before. This is the most important moment of our conversation today. Most people, having heard about the benefits of cloves, make the same fatal mistake. They just throw a handful of the spice into a kettle and pour bubbling, boiling water directly from the stove over it. By doing this, you are committing a real crime against your health and simply wasting the product. Eugenol is a volatile, extremely delicate and sensitive compound. At a temperature of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, its complex molecular bonds simply break and fly into the air. You will smell a wonderful, spicy aroma in the kitchen, but only dead water will remain in your cup, deprived of its healing power. Our task is to draw the precious oil out of the bud, to lure it out without killing its living soul. For our healing trap, we need a strictly verified dosage, exactly 5 clove buds for 1 standard 8-ounce glass of clean water. And there is another secret of quality here. The cloves must be alive. Checking this is very simple. Conduct the soldier test. Drop a bud into a glass of cold water. If it floats horizontally, lazily bobbing on the surface like a dry splinter, throw such cloves away without mercy. There isn't a drop of oil in them. They are old and empty. Good cloves, high-quality cloves, float vertically with the heavy head up, or they immediately go to the bottom under the weight of their own oil. The elders taught me, living cloves stand in the water like a faithful soldier on post. We take our 5 proven soldiers and carefully, with love, crush their caps, the heads of the buds, with our fingers or the back of a wooden spoon. We do this to open the oil channels and allow the eugenol to enter the infusion. Now I will show you under macro camera what these microscopic shining droplets of oil look like inside the bud. This is your main medicine against extra pounds. Now let's move on to the actual brewing process of our elixir. This is almost alchemy, my dear ones. We take clean water, bring it to the point of boiling, when the first large bubbles start to rise, and then immediately turn off the heat. But we don't steep the cloves immediately. We set a timer and wait exactly 8 to 10 minutes. During this time, the water calms down and cools to the ideal temperature, about 185 degrees Fahrenheit. In traditional medicine, this is called white water or quiet boiling. It's still very hot, capable of drawing out the benefits, but it's no longer aggressive. It doesn't burn or destroy the delicate essential bonds. We pour this white water over our prepared crushed buds in a glass or ceramic cup, and, this is critically important, immediately cover the cup with a tight saucer or lid. Why can't this be ignored? Eugenol, feeling the heat, will instantly begin to turn into steam and try to escape from you. The saucer will become an insurmountable barrier for it. After 10 to 15 minutes of infusion, you will see large, heavy drops on the back of this saucer. This is precious condensate, the highest concentration of clove gold. When you open the cap, be sure to carefully drain these drops back into the infusion. Do not dare to lose a single drop of this treasure. The resulting infusion will have a noble golden amber color. It will be transparent, clean, and surprisingly aromatic. In the next block, I will tell you in detail at exactly what time of day you need to drink this cup so that your fat cells lock up at the very moment when the enemy, excess sugar, tries to get inside. My healer used to repeat one wise thing. Our stomach has no ears to listen to your excuses, but it has very precise internal clocks. For the clove trap not just to pass through you, but to work as a powerful biological shield, you must observe the law of 30 minutes. You must drink the infusion exactly half an hour before your largest, heaviest meal. Most often in our lives, this is lunch. Why exactly 30 minutes and not 10 or an hour? This time is physiologically necessary for the eugenol to be absorbed through the mucous membrane and begin to circulate in your blood, preparing every single one of your cells for the meal. Imagine, when you sit down to the table 30 minutes later, your exhausted pancreas will be in a state of blissful rest. The clove infusion will have already created an invisible protective layer on your cell receptors by this point. The sugar that comes with the food, from a side dish, from vegetables or fruits, will not cause panic and a sharp, painful insulin spike in the body. It will enter your cells smoothly, gently, literally like clockwork. You will be surprised to notice an amazing thing. You will be full with a portion that is half the size of your usual plate. Your brain will receive the signal of satiety not in an hour, but right during the meal. This is the precise work of our trap. We simply physically block the possibility for any excess food to be deposited in fat stores. You just drink an aromatic infusion, and your body feels that it has received a powerful recharge, and it no longer needs to pile up trash on your hips. Many people ask me, Val, what will I feel on the very first day? Will I feel bad? No, my dear ones, you will feel unusually good. Cloves are one of the most powerful natural disinfectants and cleansers. The very first thing they will start to do upon entering your mouth is to remove the long-standing, thick white coating from your tongue and gums. This coating is a real prison for your taste. People who have been dependent on sugar for years live with clogged, deaf receptors. Any natural food seems bland, tasteless and grey to them if a handful of sugar or flavour enhancers hasn't been dumped into it. The clove infusion returns your tongue to its original childlike purity of perception. Already by the evening of the first day of intake, you will discover with amazement that an ordinary garden apple seems incredibly sweet to you, almost like forest honey. This is a sure sign that your taste buds have come alive and started working. Clove Eugenol is already working hard in your intestines at this time, beginning to delicately etch out colonies of fungi and bad bacteria, which, in fact, are your true masters, forcing you to want sweets for their survival. On the first day, you may feel a slight, even pleasant tingling or warmth in your belly. Don't be afraid and quit. This is the start of a deep house cleaning in your internal home that hasn't been there for decades. In the next block, I will explain why on the second day the scale will suddenly, as if by a magic wand, show -2 pounds, even though you haven't even started restricting yourself in food yet. On the second day of intake, a real moment of truth arrives that inspires my girls to continue. Here, dry biochemistry comes into play. Remember, every molecule of extra sugar in your body, like a magnet, holds about 4 molecules of water around it. When the Clove Trap blocks night and day insulin spikes, your body finally gets the opportunity to breathe freely and begins to get rid of this excess, heavy sugar water that made you look like an inflated balloon. You will wake up in the morning on the second day, look in the mirror and gasp. The eternal bags under your eyes that you were used to covering with creams have suddenly disappeared. Your face will take on clear contours. That painful morning puffiness will go away, and your skin will become brighter. You will notice that your ankles have become thin and girlish again, and your favorite shoes, which were always tight by the evening, have become loose. You will lose your first 2 pounds, and I'll be honest with you, this isn't fat yet. It's the dirtiest, stagnant, toxic water that was poisoning your tissues. Cloves gently but confidently flush your kidneys and force lazy lymph to move faster. The elders always said, cloves are a broom that sweeps the rotten swamp from under your skin. You will feel such lightness in your legs that you haven't known for 20 years.
You will want not just to walk, but to spring as you walk. Your metabolism, which was previously sleeping in a deep lethargic slumber, finally opens its eyes and begins to look around.
When you reach the end of the first week of taking the infusion, the deepest and most important phase of our elixir's work will begin. By this point, Eugenol has already accumulated in your tissues in the necessary therapeutic concentration. Now it begins to specifically target the adipocytes, your fat cells. You must understand, after 60, these cells become incredibly greedy and lazy. All they know how to do is absorb fat from the blood and swell like sacks of grain. The clove infusion changes the very polarity of these cells, their biological task. It literally hangs a heavy steel lock on the entrance gates of the fat cell membrane. Fat circulating in the blood can no longer go inside for storage. It simply has nowhere to hide. All the doors are closed, and your body has nothing left to do but to put this fat to use, into the furnace, turning it into heat and energy for your breathing and movement. Your belly, which was previously hard, tense, and painful when pressed, will gradually begin to become soft and pliable. This is a sure sign that the most dangerous visceral fat, which has clung to your internal organs, has begun to melt. This is your big victory, my dear ones. At this moment, you are not just getting rid of volume. You are, at a genetic level, reprogramming your body's work from aging and accumulation to youth and expenditure. If you feel the strength in you and want to accelerate your result twofold or even threefold, I am ready to reveal to you a secret I call the Golden Trap. This is the synergy of two great plants. Add a small stick of real Ceylon cinnamon to your glass along with the cloves. Cinnamon is not just an aromatic additive, it contains unique polyphenols that work in the blood like powerful biological magnets for excess sugar. It picks up glucose and literally leads it by the hand into the muscles, preventing it from even approaching fat stores. The combination of cloves and cinnamon is real heavy artillery for the metabolism of a woman over 65. This combination possesses such power that it is capable of stopping the growth of fat even around vital organs, the heart and liver, clearing them of fatty liver disease. But I implore you, be careful when choosing. Cinnamon must be specifically in sticks, brittle, multi-layered, real Ceylon. That cheap powder in packets in supermarkets is most often cassia, which contains a lot of coumarin, capable of taxing your liver in large doses. We only need health. Now I will show you on a diagram how these two great plants together block those very enzymes that try to turn every cookie you eat into a new inch on your waist. Many of you don't even suspect that your insane, uncontrollable craving for sweets is often not caused by your desires at all, but by the demands of uninvited guests living inside. Parasites and fungi in our intestines simply adore sugar. It is their only and main fuel, their drug. Since ancient times, cloves have been considered the world's most powerful natural anti-parasitic shield. Their essential oils possess the unique ability to dissolve the protective chitinous shells of parasite eggs, depriving them of the slightest opportunity to multiply and poison you with their waste products. When you drink our infusion daily, you deprive these internal freeloaders of their food base. They go quiet, their influence on your nervous system weakens, and with this, your wild, sometimes inexplicable appetite goes quiet. You suddenly realize with surprise that for a full life, you need half as much food as you are used to consuming. The wise ones always said with a knowing smile, "Only when the inside is clean will the belly be truly full." By the end of the second week of such cleansing, you will notice another bonus. Your skin will become surprisingly clear, small rashes will go away, and skin tags will begin to dry up and fall off. This is the surest, most visual sign that the clothes have cleaned your blood of toxins accumulated over decades. My dear ones, my relatives, I always strive to be perfectly honest and open with you. Cloves are not just a herb, they are a very powerful, fiery, concentrated remedy. Therefore, there are categories of people who need to take this recipe with great caution or temporarily abandon it. If you are currently in a stage of acute stomach inflammation, if you have an open ulcer or gastritis with high acidity in the flare-up phase, please wait. Cloves actively stimulate the production of gastric juice, and this can cause sharp pain or heartburn with an already damaged mucous membrane. First, heal the wounds with gentle porridges, and then proceed to fat burning. I also do not recommend our trap to those who suffer from very high blood pressure at the moment of a hypertensive crisis. Essential oils can slightly speed up blood flow and increase pulsation. And the most important medical rule, if you are already taking pharmaceutical blood thinners, remember that cloves do the same thing naturally. Do not allow a dangerous double effect so as not to cause bleeding. The true wisdom of a healer is always to know the sense of proportion. If you are in doubt, start not with 5, but with 2 or 3 buds. Look at your body's reaction. Listen to it. Your body will never lie to you. It is the best advisor. Medicine should enter the house of your body as a welcome guest, not as a crude invader. I want you to look closely now at these photos sent to me by my student, Marina. She is 63 years old, and when she first came to me, she was in complete black despair. Her sugar was at the very upper limit of normal. Doctors were already scaring her with diabetes and lifelong injections. Eternal leaden fatigue in her legs and a huge belly that prevented her from even just leaning over to fasten her boots before a walk. At first, she didn't believe in the power of cloves. She laughed bitterly in my face. "Val, I take expensive pills by the handful, and you're offering me some cheap spice from the grocery store?" But I was persistent and literally forced her to drink the Clove Trap according to my schedule for 3 weeks. And then, a month later, she sent me this photo in a new blue dress 2 sizes smaller, minus 25 pounds of pure weight. But the most amazing thing wasn't the numbers on the scale. Her doctor was in total shock from her new blood tests. Her sugar came to an absolute, ideal norm, like that of a young girl. The craving for candies and night ginges disappeared completely. Marina wrote me words in a letter that brought tears to my eyes. "Val, for the first time in the last 20 years, I feel like I am again the mistress of my body and my life, and not a pathetic slave to my own refrigerator. Seeing such transformations is my greatest reward. It is what I live for." My dear ones, Let's now cast aside everything unnecessary and gather our method into one clear, understandable cheat sheet so that you don't have a single doubt left. You can take a screenshot of the screen right now, or take a pen and write this down in your cherished notebook. 1. Take exactly 5 buds of high-quality standing cloves. Be sure to crush their heads to release the oil. 2. Bring clean water to the first boil, turn it off, and let it cool for exactly 8 to 10 minutes until it becomes white, 185 degrees. 3. Pour this water over the prepared cloves in an 8-ounce glass. 4. Cover with a heavy saucer for exactly 15 minutes. This time is sacred. 5. When you open it, be sure to drain all the oily condensate from the lid back into the drink. 6. Drink the infusion very slowly, thoughtfully, in small sips exactly 30 minutes before your main lunch. The entire course lasts 14 days, after which we must take a break for 1 week so the receptors don't get used to it. And remember my strict order: not a single grain of sugar, not a drop of even the best honey can be added to this infusion. We are catching sugar in a trap. We are fighting it, not feeding its enemy. I am often asked, Val, won't I smell like a spice shop, or even worse, like a dentist's office after this infusion? Calm down, my dear ones, my golden ones. Cloves possess an amazing property. They don't just mask, they completely destroy the bacteria in the mouth that cause bad breath. On the contrary, your breath will become fresh and clean, as if you've just taken a walk through a pine forest after the rain. Cloves are the world's best natural deodorant for the mouth. The second most popular question: can you just chew cloves if there's no way to brew them? My answer is not only can you, but you should. If you are at work, on the road, or visiting, and suddenly feel that treacherous sucking hunger pang or a desire to eat a candy, just put 1 clove bud behind your cheek and chew it slowly. The essential oils through the oral mucosa will instantly, bypassing the stomach, carry a signal to your brain, and the hunger center will calm down within a couple of minutes. Keep cloves in your purse at all times as emergency help against slip-ups. My relatives, my golden people, now this great secret of the ancestors is in your hands. Please remember one important thing. Old age is not the numbers in your passport or the wrinkles by your eyes. Old age is the moment when your own body stops obeying you and turns into a heavy, clumsy burden. Do not let sugar, this insidious white poison, consume your life, your precious energy, and your natural beauty. Your jar of cloves bought for pennies is your faithful sword in the fight for your future, for the opportunity to play with grandchildren and enjoy every day without pain. Start this journey tomorrow morning. Don't put it off until Monday or a new month. Prepare your first trap. Inhale this tart aroma of health, and I promise you, in just a week, you will wake up a completely different person. Light, bright, full of strength, and absolutely free from food chains. Write to me right now in the comments, who among you is ready today to lock their fat cells with me? I read every one of your words. I worry for each of you. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell so you don't miss our meetings. For next Thursday, I will reveal to you the secret of the laurel tear. I will show you how one ordinary leaf from the soup can drive all the excess stagnant water out of your joints and give them a second youth. Be healthy, be light, my dear ones. Remember, nature loves us. She has given us everything for healing. Until we meet in our new, clean and happy life, your Val.